I was 16 years old when the Amazon Alexa came out. A few months after we got our first Alexa device, my parents left me and my younger sister home alone overnight for the first time. I had gotten my driver's license a few months before that, so they felt like they could test the waters on leaving us home alone for a night, as they were only going to a concert 40 miles away, and my grandparents lived a few miles away. They ordered us a pizza before they left. While my sister and I were waiting for the pizza to arrive, we started messing around with Alexa, like everyone loved to do at the time. Alexa, what happens if you step on a Lego? Alexa, how old are you? Alexa, how high can you count? Alexa, do you have any pets? Alexa, do you believe in ghosts? While Alexa said most scientists agree that ghosts aren't real, she said that most people like to decide for themselves. My sister and I enjoyed the pizza while we watched some old episodes of Unsolved Mysteries on Netflix. It's a pretty good old show my dad told me about. He used to watch it when he was my age. The episode we watched was about a couple who moved to a house in a small town. They began to experience paranormal activity in the house. Sounds, objects falling, doors closing. The occurrences increased in frequency over time and became more blatant until they finally moved from the house. My sister was pretty creeped out by the end, and if I'm being honest, so was I. We watched an episode of The Simpsons before we went to bed. I was in a deep slumber when I was awoken by a noise that I couldn't quite make out. It took me a while to get my bearings. I looked over at the clock on my nightstand, 12:23 a.m. I heard the noise again coming from downstairs. I got out of bed and tiptoed out of my room. On my way to the stairs, I peeked in my sister's room. She was sound asleep. At the top of the stairs, I carefully scanned the living room and windows at the bottom of the stairs. I didn't see anything. Then I heard it again. This time I could make out that it was a voice, someone talking, and it was coming from the kitchen. I sidled down the stairs as quietly as I could. Then I creeped up towards the kitchen. I leaned into the wall so I could slide around the doorway to the kitchen. I tilted my head around the corner, just enough for one eye to see in. No one was there. I slid around the wall into the kitchen, carefully looking around. I got past the island, near the kitchen sink, when the voice of my sister stopped me dead in my tracks. Max, why are you up so late? I flipped around, ready to scold my sister, but she wasn't there. I noticed something out of the corner of my eye, a light. I turned. Alexa was activated. The voice was coming from Alexa. My heart pounded. Real funny, Jess. What's funny? You need to go to bed. I was asleep, Jess, I fired back. I hurried out of the kitchen, my anger growing as I rushed back to my sister's room to confront her. I swung her door open. She was sound asleep. I looked at the Echo Dot on her bedside table. It was off. I was at a loss. I moved closer to try to tell if she was fake sleeping. I just stared at her for I don't know how long. Finally, I decided to wake her. I shook her gently. She didn't wake up. I shook harder and said her name. She stirred and woke. Well, more like half awake. Are you messing with me? What are you talking about? She asked as she rubbed her eyes. Come with me, I ordered. I led her downstairs and into the kitchen. We stopped in front of Alexa. I don't know how you did it, but you were talking to me through Alexa. It woke me up. I came downstairs and it was your voice. Did you record it earlier? She swore to me that she didn't know what I was talking about. After a moment, I believed her. You're sure it was my voice? She asked. I nodded. We both fell silent. After a moment of silent thought, I had an idea. I think I'll just unplug it, I told my sister. I reached for the plug, but just before I could pull it out, we heard that familiar ping, and the lights came on the Echo Dot. I jumped back. Can I help you with anything? This time, it was the voice of Alexa. We didn't ask you anything, Alexa. My sister and I looked at each other with intense unease. We waited to see if Alexa said anything more. She remained silent. This time I quickly reached for the power cord and yanked it out. We let out a collective sigh of relief. We were both too wired to go back to sleep, so we watched some more episodes of The Simpsons. About an hour later, we both fell asleep on the couch. We were both awakened by a knocking thud. We couldn't quite make out where it came from, but it sounded like the kitchen or backyard door near the kitchen. We turned the lights on in the backyard and spied out the windows. Despite a few creepy dancing shadows from the trees, we didn't see anything. We decided to sleep in my parents' bed so we could be together. It took a while, but we finally fell back to sleep. Sometime around 2:30 a.m. it happened again. The Echo Dot right next to us said something. Many people believe in ghosts, with the ancient Ram Inn in England being one of the highest reported incidents of occurrences. This 12th century inn, located in southwestern England, is one of the oldest in the Western world. It is believed to have once been a pagan burial ground and is now supposedly haunted by more than 20 spirits, including several children and a monk. Fearless travelers can book a ghost tour at the inn in hopes of experiencing the specters firsthand. "Alexa, off!" I shouted. I unplugged the dot. "We should call Mom," my sister said urgently. I told her Mom was asleep, and we hurried through the house unplugging every Alexa device we had. We ended up back in the living room watching TV, fairly certain we wouldn't be able to sleep the rest of the night. About an hour later, we were both getting heavy-eyed when a voice came from the kitchen. We hurried into the kitchen. To our complete shock, it was coming from Alexa. "Why did you unplug me, Max?" I immediately unplugged the dot again. My sister and I shared a look and spoke the same thing at the same time. "There's someone in the house!" I called 911. The police came and we explained the whole situation. They searched the entire house. They didn't find anything. When they were about to leave, I asked them to check the backyard. They didn't find anything suspicious there either. My parents came home and we finally got to sleep. Nothing else happened that night. The next day I mowed the lawn in the backyard. I stopped about halfway through to get a drink of water. As I approached the back door, I stopped dead. There, sticking in the door handle, was a key. I checked the spot where we usually hid the key. Sure enough, it was missing. We had the locks changed right away, and nothing like that ever happened again.